Hey guys, it is Sophie from GAINSBYBRAINS and welcome to this new video. This will be a full day of eating lean bulking edition. So I've recorded a full day of eating before, only that one was for fat loss, because then I was still on a cutting diet. I am no longer on a cutting diet because I just recently started my bulk. During a bulk, you consume more calories on a daily basis than your body needs to maintain its current state, which is why you will gain weight. When you combine this weight gain with resistance training, with working out in the gym, then you are able to build muscle mass, which is the purpose or the goal of a bulk. This also means that I have more calories to play around with, which is going to be fun. So it is currently 1 p.m. and I just got back from the gym and I did not consume any food yet. And that is because I still fast intermittently. If you want to know more information about intermittent fasting, then you can click the link in my description box because I made a whole video about it, explaining what it is and why I do it. At one point in my bulk, I will stop with intermittent fasting because then my calories are so high that I'm no longer able to eat them in a 8 or 10 hour time frame, and then I really need to spread my meals throughout the days. But I don't experience that problem yet. I'm still able to consume all my calories within my eating window without a problem, which is why I still fast intermittently, because I really enjoy the additional benefits from fasting. So before I move on to the next clip where I will show you my first meal of the day, I just quickly wanted to ask you to please give this video a like if you like this video, to leave a comment down below and to subscribe to my channel so you will never miss any of my future videos ever again. So let's make the first meal of the day. So for the first meal of today, I am going to make some oats. I like making oats after my workout just to get some carbs into my system, and for this meal you obviously need some oats, and I like to make them with almond milk and a bit of cinnamon. I use 200 milliliters of almond milk and I just quickly heat that up. While that is warming up, I am measuring out 70 grams of oats, because the trick to getting the right consistency of oats is to first warm up your almond milk or your milk and then add the oats afterwards for 30 seconds or so, and then your consistency will be perfect. I like to add some cinnamon while my oats are still dry, and while my almond milk is warming up, I decided to cut some banana, and I also made a quick protein shake. I used 30 grams of protein and I just added some water because after my workout I want a fast digesting protein in my system. After I finished with all of that, my almond milk was warm and I added the oats, as you can see here. Give it a good stir and you are good to go. I added the macros to the screen, as you can see right here. It has been 3 hours since I last saw you and I am ready for a snack, so let's go and make one. For today's snack, I decided to make some homemade hummus, and for this recipe you will need some olive oil, some tahini, chicken peas, lemon and garlic. And you just add everything to the blender and then mix it up. So what you want to do is you want to get the wet ingredients closest to the blades as possible. And since I have to screw the blades on top of this little container, as you can see in a second, I needed to add the dry ingredients first. I also add some water in between blending just so that you get the right consistency, but just start out with minimal water because otherwise it will get too thin and that's not what you want. And then you will end up with 2 portions of hummus, and I like to have it with some bell pepper. And since nuts are a pretty easy way of increasing your daily caloric intake, since they are very caloric dense, I also added some nuts to this meal. You will see the macros and the portion sizes in the screen right now. I made 2 portions, but I only have 1 here because I kept 1 in the fridge for tomorrow. Hey, it is me again. It is currently 7 p.m. and I am ready to make some dinner. Now my dinners usually look quite alike. They are pretty much the same in their basic principles. So I usually have a protein source, which can either be chicken or fish, maybe a lean steak, or some vegetarian type of burger. And then I usually have some vegetables with it and a carb source. And as a carb source, I either have rice when I am bulking, or I usually tend to eat potatoes when I am cutting. So let's make some dinner. I'm really excited for this one. For today's dinner, I decided to have some yellow rice because it is very flavorful. I had 65 grams, but usually when I make dinner for 2 days in a row, so I just eat the same for 2 days because that is just easier. I decided to have some pumpkin with it, so I made 400 grams of pumpkin, and again I only had 200 grams of it. So I like to steam my vegetables, but first I bake them a bit in the pan so that they get a bit crispy. This was a pre-seasoned white fish, as you can see, because you can see that there is a lot of fat in there. That is usually the case with pre-seasoned or pre-marinated protein sources. So make sure to check the macros because they can be quite high in fat, which is not a problem, you just have to account for it. So again, I like to add some nuts into my diet just for a bit of a crunch. I just throw it all together and you are good to go. I am back for the final meal for today. It is now 9 p.m. and I am going to have a Greek yogurt. I usually have a variation of this meal every day because it contains a slow digesting protein, and that is exactly what you want before you go to bed. So let's make the final meal for today. So for my final meal for today, I had a Greek yogurt, 0% fat, and I had 300 grams. I always like to have some type of yogurt before I go to bed because it has a slow digesting protein in it. I like to add some berries. I only had frozen berries this time, so I added those. And since I had a pretty sweet tooth or sweet craving, I decided to add a protein wafer. This is actually half a serving, and it also added a bit of a crunch, which is kind of nice if you ask me. So that will conclude my full day of eating lean bulking edition. I really hope that you enjoyed watching it, that you enjoyed watching what I eat in a day. As you can see, I try to keep my diet as clean or as natural as possible. Even though I am bulking and I'm able to fit more things into my diet since I have more calories to play around with, it just makes me feel the best. So again, thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you in my next upload. Bye guys!